Welcome back to Streamline Entertainment. It is Marvin speaking. I've had some people come out and say, look, the Jay Slater case, it's over and it was just a tragic accident. But this is what we've been told by the basically the coroner's report, where I don't think any of the information that was sent in by myself, by Duncan, Ali Harris, and many other sleuths were even read out basically in court. A couple of things that I wasn't happy with, and I think that will come out in due time, of course, maybe while the documentaries come out. There were messages some months ago, basically, and I have put them out on a video in that someone said that they heard by somebody else, if this information does come out, that the Jake case, Slater case, as down as an accident, they'll put information out there that it wasn't. I don't know how true that is, to be honest with you, at the end of the day, but anything that I see which is important, I put out whether people are going to like it or not, because I think it's very, very important, to be honest with you. I do think that there are people who have information but are too afraid to share it due to basically being threatened. The worrying things for me in this case was time schedules. Obviously, Lucy, from what Lucy to Brandon to what Abe says to what Rocky said, never really made sense and never really add up. And then we move on to no shows. Rocky, Brandon, I think it was Lucy on audio. She didn't want to show her face and she didn't want to attend court, technically due to threats. I mean, who's going to be threatening her for turning up to court? Basically, when this is about her best friend, that never makes sense. And the other thing we got to look at as well, don't forget, basically, she was talking to a TikToker, Haley Comet, Lucy, that important information that she had on her phone in messages between her and Jay Slater. She deleted them because she didn't think it was relevant in the case. And it was the same sort of scenario of basically passing the buck and not wanting to share information basically with the public or sleuths, just in case basically something come out. I honestly do believe that she's working for people that Lucy's working for people that wouldn't take kindly for her talking too much. It's as simple as that. And due to what happened to Jay, the confusion or a bag going missing, which possibly could have been rugs, it could have been money, it could have been a few things, to be honest with you. But like I said, let's just go with rugs and money. For instance, that was in that bag, and possibly watches as well, which was stolen in the basically what was happening in the clubs. Should I be? And we know we have concrete evidence that Jay's phone was actually being used at the end of the day to basically put money into his basically bank account and probably use then to go elsewhere. At the end of it, is that one of the reasons basically Jay was taken? Because like I said, the money that was supposed to be coming out of his bank account couldn't, and he owed someone money who wanted it because it was part of the deal and part of the service, the people he was actually working for. If there's any mess ups, it could mean your life. And then we go with lookalikes in the club, which was never described. There were at least two people who tried to play off as Jay, and we blatantly thought, okay, it looks like him, but at the end of the day, there's something kind of odd in this case. And the big, I think, talking point in the case was CCTV outside the club when an eyewitness blatantly see him carried off, and I think a lot of people see him carried off on the shoulder of another man, and another man walking with him as well, possibly to a car as well, and something happening on the beach. I mean, this is what not talked about enough. And if we remember at the end of the day, in the early days, it was MWT who put that narrative out there that this could be more sinister than what we actually thought in this case. And this has actually got us thinking. That wasn't, my view, and it wasn't a lot of the sleuths who were following this case as well. That was actually put out by him, basically, that this case is sinister, but he couldn't really back it up because I think he realised it was drug related and it was too big for him to take on. And all he wanted to do was basically close this case down, as because it was the Guardia Civil and their superiors who said, look, this was just a tragic accident and there's no proof of foul play in this case. It is very, very complicated story, very, very complicated story. This is at the end of the day, but I think there's still a lot more to come in this case. And people may say at the end of the day, but like I said, there's nothing to go on because it's a closed case. There's nothing to go on, you're right, but like I said, I still think that there are people with information who will actually say something, to be honest with you. Some information from Ali here. Why was body immediately sent to Gran Canaria? This is true, for autopsy and not done in Tenerife, which has perfectly adequate facilities there. Body not able to be viewed by parents. Yeah, not able to be viewed by parents in the UK, different story. Loads of questions. That's another one, because obviously people were asking the question, was it Jay's body in the coffin? I do think that obviously the British government would have confirmed that it was Jay before anybody was sent back, and those tests would have been done lawfully, to be honest with you. If they hadn't, then obviously there would be obviously ructions, to be honest with you. But like I said, there are so many odd things which I've mentioned time in this case, no-shows. Whereas basically we have to remember Debbie really wanted Rocky to be at court and Brandon, and there was a no-show. Brandon and Rocky didn't answer basically any of the letters or summons that the police basically thought that were living off. Obviously, Brandon's police went to Brandon's mum's house, and into their email, no-show, warrant basically to attend, nothing. Sorry, not warrant, summons, sorry, that is. And Rocky basically said that he was talking to a lawyer as though he was going to attend, but that was all fake as well. So this case, one of the reasons why I don't think it's over, number one, I do think that there are people with information that will come out that will tell us a different story in this case. And if you've got someone like Rocky, only a couple of weeks ago he came out and basically putting stuff up in Tenerife, people are going to talk about it. If Debbie was talking about that, he should have been called out for it at the end of the day. So that tells me she's still got a lot of questions for Ayub and Rocky about this case. And you have to all admit at the end of the day, when we realised that Ayub was involved, an ex-drug dealer, and the people he's connected to, you're actually thinking, what the hell did happen to Jay Slater? Because obviously the case, when we knew he was involved, this case turned very, very sinister at the end of the day when we realise there's more to this than meets the eye. And then we've got Jonathan Hayes, named Rocky, basically possibly another enforcer there. The accident crew, who basically are cashing in, it seems, on basically the investigations and stories and films and series that are coming out pretty soon. This has to be discussed. This isn't over by a mile at the end of the day. And don't be shocked, people, when things start to come out at the end of the day that tells us that there's more to this thing meets the eye. People are going to say, oh my God, I didn't think this will come out at the end of the day. It isn't over. There is still information coming in. Ali's still looking at stuff at the end of the day. Duncan's still looking at stuff as well. And there's still many sleuths who are talking about this case because we're not happy with it at the end of the day. And what you've got to remember is, as well, at the end of the day, is the safety of our children, our young adults who are going out there to vulnerable. What if it's someone you knew or a family member that went to Tenerife and the last place they were seen was on the strip, and then ended up in the mountains in a situation at the end of the day, then we'd get worried. And this is why I keep discussing the case at the end of the day. No one's been arrested for it. No one's been convicted of it at the end of the day. But do you honestly think the accident crew, the people involved, the last people to say Jay, are good people at the end of the day? We know some of them are dealing in drugs. We know some of them have got bad intentions and don't give a toss about life. And this is why we keep putting these videos out there, so our youngsters are safe, going to Tenerife and being more alert in what's surrounding, which is really, really important. To stop speaking about the case as though it's closed at the end of the day, and then we get the next Brit who goes over to Tenerife and dies in the same circumstances, and then there's uproar because we've stopped talking about the case at the end of the day. Jay Slater case is a legacy, and we must all learn from it. Let me know what you think, people. Don't forget to subscribe to Streamline Entertainment and follow the channel. Appreciate you all. Thank you.